If efforts from both sides take place, we can count on relieving a certain tension. It will not be fast or easy. As we stated more than once, we positively judged a proposal of the President, Joe Biden, to hold a summit.
Putin had indicated he wanted to meet with me well over a month ago. I've spoken with him a number of times.
We don't expect everything to be solved at the end of this meeting, but we think that it is in our interest to have the meeting, which is why we proposed it to the President.
Were there any preconditions?
No.
Well, they'll be meeting in Geneva in a few weeks. The president, on the way out to Marie 1, also said that it was too late for the Nord Stream 2 sanctions to take place. He said the pipeline was almost completed by the time he took office, and it would be counterproductive to say that European relations would be affected. I'm against it, but it's too late, essentially, is what he said. But there's an election in Germany coming up. And the leading group that possibly could win, taking over for Chancellor Angela Merkel, is a Green Party that is opposed to that pipeline. So what then? We're back with our panel. Ben, this is interesting play as Russia continues to poke the U.S.
An interesting play. I mean, I think it's a disappointing play in a lot of different ways. I can only imagine what then candidate Joe Biden would be saying if then President Trump had been engaged in a lot of these different activities that are essentially playing very softly with Russia. I'm going to be curious about a number of things coming out of this meeting, but one of the big things I'll be paying attention to is if the subject of Alexei Navalny is even brought up. To me, that's something that has to be brought up in any conversation with Vladimir Putin, regardless of anything else that's on the table, because of the importance of that issue. It'll be interesting to see if Joe Biden does that.
Charlie?
You know, it's just amazing. The bottom line here is Joe Biden might be against the pipeline in Europe, but he green-lighted it. And of course, here in the United States, the first thing he did, one of his first actions as president, was to kill a pipeline in the United States. Who's he working for? I don't know.
Well, take a listen to the criticism of this summit, Harold.
Russia tries to poke the United States in the eye every day they can. So he's a thug. He's not a friend. It'd be nice if something could happen out of it.
We may have forgotten over the last couple of years, but this is how diplomacy works. We don't work together. We don't meet with people only when we agree. It's actually important to meet with leaders when we have a range of disagreements, as we do with Russian leaders. So we don't regard the meeting with the Russian president as a reward. We regard it as a vital part of defending America's interests.
For all the years of Democrats criticizing President Trump for being what they said was too close to Russia or somehow being a Russian agent, it does seem like the policies of the Biden administration are a little softer than what the Trump administration was to Russia.
I would differ there. I think this president, no president in my lifetime has brought more experience, with the exception of possibly President George H.W. Bush, around foreign policy than this president. He's been blunt. He's been serious, he's been forthright, and he's been transparent about what he wants to get done here. Look, I think Ben's right. He has to raise the Navalny issue, and I'm sure the president will. President Biden also knows that President Putin is facing joblessness and corruption. It's abound in the country, so he will be blunt with him. President Biden also knows that our real adversary in the 21st century, where the economic fight is to be engaged, is with China. So I have great confidence that the president will find the right tone, the right temperament, and more importantly, the right substantive blunting of Russia in this meeting in Geneva.
And there's questions about China as well, whether he has the same talking points there as on that front as well. Okay, panel, stand by. When we come back, tomorrow's headlines tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.